2:47 in the morning. My bedroom is dark except for 3 tiny glowing screens on my nightstand. One of them is vibrating against the wood. Again, I rolled over. Dismiss it. Go back to sleep. This is the 3rd time this week one of these watches has woken me up. And honestly, I'm getting tired of it. I'm wearing 3 smartwatches simultaneously. Yes, 3. And they cost me $2,348 of my own money. No sponsorships, no free review units. Just me trying to figure out which one is actually worth buying. But here's what I didn't know that night. Ignoring that alert was about to become the smartest and scariest decision I'd make all year. Because when I finally dragged myself to my doctor 2 weeks later, just to prove the watch wrong, she looked at my data and said 4 words I wasn't expecting. We need more tests. The watch that caught it? Not the most expensive one. Not the one with the biggest marketing budget. And definitely not the one every tech reviewer is telling you to buy. I'm about to show you something that contradicts everything you think you know about smartwatch shopping. And if you're about to spend $500 to $1,200 on one of these things, you need to see this before you click that buy button. I'm talking about the Apple Watch Ultra 3, the Garmin Fenix 8 Pro, and the watch nobody's talking about that might actually be the smartest choice, the Garmin Venu 4. And here's why you need to watch this entire video. I'm revealing the one question that instantly tells you which watch you should buy. It's not about features, it's not about price, it's something completely different, and I guarantee no other review is asking for it. But first, we need to talk about what these watches actually cost, because the number on the website is a complete lie. Let me introduce you to the characters in this story, because yes, these watches have personalities. First, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 at $799. Think of this as the overachieving friend who's brilliant at everything but needs constant validation. Gorgeous display, incredible health features, seamless iPhone integration, but it wants to be charged every other day, and it's judging you for that third coffee. Next up, the Garmin Fenix 8 Pro at $1199. This is the survivalist friend who shows up to brunch wearing tactical gear. It'll run for a month on a single charge, survive conditions that would kill your phone, and tell you exactly why your training plan sucks. But ask it to send a simple text message and suddenly it's confused. Finally, the dark horse nobody's talking about, the Garmin Venu 4 at $549. This is your balanced friend who shows up on time, remembers your birthday, and never causes drama. Not the flashiest, not the most hardcore, but somehow always there when you need it, looking good, and not demanding attention every 2 days. I wore all 3 of these simultaneously for 8 weeks. I'm talking during my chaotic commute in San Francisco on a 5-day backpacking trip in the Sierras where temperatures dropped 40 degrees at night, through HIIT workouts where I was literally dripping sweat on them, and most importantly, during boring regular Tuesdays where absolutely nothing exciting happened. That last part matters more than anything else, and we'll get to why. Here's where every other review gets it wrong. They tell you the price, they compare specs, they move on. But your bank account doesn't care about specifications. It cares about what leaves your account month after month for the next 3 years. So let me show you something wild. That Apple Watch Ultra 3 at $799? I just paid for my 2nd month of the cellular plan. Added Apple Care because a $700 mistake is not something I can afford. In year 3, that free satellite messaging they're bragging about? That'll start charging you. Do the math over 3 years of actual ownership, and you're looking at over $1,600 for the complete experience. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro at $1199 seems straightforward until you realize their marketing shows athletes using satellite messaging and LTE connectivity. Those aren't free. That InReach subscription starts at $8 a month. The LTE plan is another fee. Suddenly that $1,200 watch becomes a $2,800 commitment over 3 years. But here's what shocked me. That $549 Venu 4, it stays under $700 total. No ongoing subscriptions, no cellular fees, no satellite charges. Just the watch, maybe an extra band, and you're done. Now, before you think I'm just going to tell you to buy the cheapest one, hold on. Because the best watch isn't the cheapest watch. It's the one that matches what you actually do with your life. And I discovered that in the weirdest way possible, lying in bed at 2:47 a.m., annoyed at a vibrating screen. Let's talk about what it's actually like to wear these things 24/7, because if you hate how it feels, those fancy features become completely meaningless. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 surprised me. At 49 millimeters, it should feel massive. But somehow, Apple's engineering magic makes it sit flatter on the wrist than it has any right to. 61 grams of titanium that feels almost delicate. That display is genuinely stunning. Colors that pop, blacks so deep the screen seems to vanish into void. But those sharp corners? I scratched my laptop twice before I learned to be careful. And if you've got smaller wrists, this watch makes a statement whether you're trying to or not. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro at 95 grams has serious presence. You know you're wearing something substantial. At first, I thought it was too much. But after a week, I started appreciating that weight. It feels purposeful, seriously. The transflective display is readable in direct sunlight. I literally tested this by checking it while trail running and staring directly at the sun. Yeah, I know, not recommended. But the point is, it works flawlessly outdoors. Here's where Garmin made their biggest mistake, though. They offer a micro LED edition for $2,000 that cuts battery life by over 60%. You're paying double for a feature that destroys Garmin's core advantage. Skip it entirely. The Venu 4 hit a sweet spot I didn't expect. 56 grams for the 45 millimeter model, just 12.5 millimeters thick, making it the slimmest watch here. The full stainless steel case looks premium without screaming for attention. That 1.4-inch AMOLED display is bright and gorgeous for notifications and workouts. And they added an LED flashlight that seemed gimmicky until I used it to find my keys in a dark parking garage for the 5th time. Now I genuinely wonder why every smartwatch doesn't have this feature. Comfort winner? The Venu 4 disappeared on my wrist. I forgot I was wearing it, which is exactly what you want from daily tech. Let me tell you about my charging station setup, because it became a character in this story. Every other night, around 10 p.m., I'd grab the Apple Watch Ultra 3 and drop it on the charger. 48 hours is what I consistently got with real use. Always on display active, workout tracking, notifications flowing. Not terrible, but it means you're thinking about batteries every other day, planning ahead, making sure you charge before that weekend trip. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro lasted 31 days. 31. I genuinely forgot it needed charging. I'd glance at the battery percentage and it would be 73% after a week. The first time it finally warned me about low battery, I actually felt a little sad that our month together was ending. This is genuinely absurd battery life that fundamentally changes your relationship with the device. The Venu 4 delivered 11 days consistently. And here's why this is the perfect sweet spot. I charge it every Sunday morning while making coffee. That's it. That's my entire charging routine. I never think about it during the week. Never worry about it dying during a workout. Never pack a charger for a weekend trip. It just works, reliably, without demanding mental energy. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Battery life isn't about numbers. It's about mental overhead. The Apple Watch adds a small recurring task to your life every other day. The Fenix removes that task almost completely. The Venu finds the balance where you charge weekly and never stress. Which matters to you depends on how much mental space you want technology occupying in your life. Remember that 2:47 a.m. alert? Let me tell you what actually happened, because this is where things got real. For 2 weeks, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 kept giving me notifications about concerning health patterns. Blood oxygen trending showed consistent drops during sleep. Heart rate variability was declining. The sleep analysis kept flagging unusual patterns detected, and I kept dismissing them because I felt fine. I was working out normally. The energy was good, no symptoms at all, but the alerts wouldn't stop. So finally, more to prove the watch wrong than anything else, I scheduled an appointment with my doctor. Brought all 3 watches with me actually, with their data synced to my phone. It felt a bit ridiculous pulling out multiple devices to show health tracking data. My doctor looked at the Apple Watch data first. Then she ran some tests. Then she ran more tests. Turns out I had early warning signs of a condition that, if left unchecked for another 6 months, could have become significantly more serious. The Apple Watch didn't diagnose anything. It's not a medical device. But it detected patterns that made me get checked, and that early detection mattered. Here's the critical thing, though. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 doesn't do continuous blood pressure monitoring or measurement, despite what some marketing might imply. What it does is hypertension notifications, analyzing patterns over 30 days that might indicate chronic high blood pressure. It can't give you a reading, it can't replace a doctor, but it can alert you to get checked, which is genuinely valuable. The ECG function works remarkably well. 30 seconds with your finger on the crown gives you detailed heart rhythm analysis that can detect atrial fibrillation. The sleep tracking analyzes over 20 distinct factors and tells you specifically why your sleep quality declined. Not just that it was poor, but that you had caffeine after 3 p.m. and exercise too close to bedtime. That specificity helps you actually fix things. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro takes a completely different approach. It's not trying to detect diseases, it's trying to optimize performance and predict your readiness for training. I did something specific to settle the fitness tracking debate once and for all. I wore all 3 watches during a brutal 15-mile trail run with 3,000 feet of elevation gain, dense tree cover, creating limited GPS visibility, and canyon sections where I literally couldn't see much sky. Mile 1 felt ridiculous. 3 watches, 2 on one wrist, 1 on the other. I looked absolutely absurd. But I needed definitive answers about GPS accuracy, battery drain, and which watch actually helps versus just collects data. GPS accuracy test. The Fenix 8 Pro and Venu 4 with multi-band GPS stayed accurate even in the canyon sections where I lost clear sky view. The Apple Watch had noticeable drift in those sections. Not terrible, but measurably less precise. All 3 tracked the overall route well, but the Garmin's were simply better in challenging conditions. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 introduced something called Workout Buddy, real-time AI coaching that adapts to your performance. During a tempo run earlier in the week, it told me 3 times to slow down when my heart rate spiked. I know it spiked. That's literally the point of tempo work. But during easy runs when I accidentally pushed too hard, that same coaching became genuinely helpful for maintaining proper effort levels. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro is where things got serious. Training load breaks down into acute load and chronic load, then shows you the ratio between them. Training focus reveals whether you're doing too much easy running and not enough threshold work. I adjusted my training based on this data, and my race performance genuinely improved. Pace Pro might be the single most underrated feature in smartwatch history. Input your goal time and the elevation profile of your race, and the watch adjusts your target pace for every single hill and descent. I tested this for a half marathon. Garmin predicted I'd finish in 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 23 seconds. My actual finish time? 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 51 seconds. 28 seconds off over 13.1 miles. That level of accuracy is genuinely impressive and useful. The Venu 4 delivers about 80% of the Fenix features at less than half the price. Over 80 sport modes, training readiness scores, full training load analysis, and VO2 max estimates. The new mixed training mode automatically detects and tracks combination workouts. Multi-band GPS matches the Fenix accuracy. For athletes doing races up to marathon distance, the Venu 4 delivers everything you actually need. Battery during that 15-mile run told the whole story. Apple Watch dropped 38%, Venu 4 dropped 11%, Fenix 8 Pro dropped just 7%. Those numbers reveal which watch is built for endurance activities. Daily usability matters because you're not working out 24/7. Most of your life is just regular life: messages, calls, paying for coffee, checking the weather. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 is fundamentally a smartwatch that happens to be tough. Notifications appear instantly and perfectly formatted. Phone calls via the speaker work surprisingly well even on busy San Francisco streets. Apple Pay is so seamless, I genuinely stopped carrying my wallet for 2 weeks until I needed my driver's license. The satellite messaging actually works. I tested it from a Utah canyon with 0 cell signal for 3 days straight. messages sent within 15 to 30 seconds. It's free for 2 years with purchase, then likely $5 to $10 monthly after that. Here's what's genuinely exciting though. Apple opened their satellite API to third-party developers. Apps are coming that will use satellite for live race tracking, weather alerts, and automated check-ins, all completely off-grid. This transforms satellite from a safety feature into a platform for innovation. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro finally added LTE, but the experience feels tacked on rather than thoughtfully integrated. Notifications work, but aren't optimized for the display format. Phone calls are functional, but not great. I found myself speaking louder and asking people to repeat themselves frequently. Garmin Pay exists, but bank support is limited compared to Apple Pay or Google Pay. Satellite messaging uses the Iridium network and requires an inReach subscription starting at $8 monthly, scaling up to $65 depending on your usage tier. Setup required 2 hours and 3 different apps to get working properly. The Venu 4 has no LTE or satellite, which for 90% of users is actually a money-saving elimination of features they'd never use. Notifications work well on that AMOLED display. Phone calls via speaker are decent quality. Voice assistant integration with Siri or Google Assistant is genuinely useful for quick tasks. The accessibility features including spoken watch face and colorblind mode show thoughtful design. Smart features winner? Apple Watch Ultra 3 by a significant margin, but only if you're deep in the Apple ecosystem already. Let's do actual math on 3-year ownership, because that's how long you'll realistically keep these watches before upgrading. Apple Watch Ultra 3, $799 base price, $297 for AppleCare Plus over 3 years, $360 for cellular plan at 10 monthly, $96 for satellite year 3 when the free trial ends, $50 for an extra band because the default one gets gross. Total real cost, $1,602. You're also locked to iPhone, so factor in ecosystem costs if you're considering switching platforms. Resale value is strong at 40 to 50% after 3 years. Garmin Fenix 8 Pro, $1,199 base price, $1,080 for moderate satellite use over 3 years through inReach, $450 for LTE connectivity, $50 for Connect IQ apps and premium watch faces. You'll probably want a heart rate chest strap for $80 for accurate workout data. Total, $2,859. Resale value around 35 to 40%. This cost only makes sense if you genuinely use satellite communication for safety and need extreme battery life regularly. Garmin Venu 4, $549 base price, $30 for extra band, $30 for premium apps if you want them, $50 for optional screen protection. Total, $659. No ongoing subscriptions, no cellular fees, no satellite charges. This is less than a quarter of the Fenix cost and less than half the Apple cost. Resale value is weaker at 25 to 30%, but given the lower entry price, it's less concerning. The value champion is obvious from a pure cost perspective. But value isn't just about money. It's about what you get for that money relative to what you actually need and use. Here's the one question that cuts through all the noise, all the specs, all the marketing. What will you actually use this watch for on a boring Tuesday? Not during your dream vacation to Iceland. Not during that marathon you're planning to run someday. Not during the backpacking trip you take once a year. On a regular, boring, nothing special Tuesday when you wake up, go to work, maybe exercise, and go to bed. This question exposes the truth about what you need versus what you think sounds cool. If your Tuesday involves seamless integration with your iPhone, iPad, and Mac, if you're constantly using Apple Pay, sending iMessages from your wrist, taking calls on your watch, and you want medical-grade health monitoring because you're over 40 or have health concerns, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 is genuinely worth the investment despite the higher total cost. If your Tuesday involves structured training for specific athletic goals, if you're regularly doing multi-day activities where charging is inconvenient or impossible, if you need genuine satellite communication for safety because you're often in remote areas, and you want comprehensive training metrics that actually improve performance, the Fenix 8 Pro justifies its premium price. If your Tuesday involves wanting to be healthier and track your fitness without making it complicated, if you exercise regularly but aren't training for ultra-endurance events, If you want good smart features without paying for cellular connectivity you won't use, and you appreciate 12-day battery life, that means charging becomes a background task instead of a daily ritual. The Venu 4 delivers everything you actually need. Most people, if they're honest about their actual Tuesday, don't need the most expensive option. They need the option that matches their real life, not their aspirational life. After 8 weeks of wearing all three simultaneously, running through canyons, swimming in pools, even wearing two at once during that half marathon, here's my controversial take. I'm keeping the Venu 4. Not because it's perfect, not because it has the most features or the best specs on paper, but because it's the only one I never think about, which means I actually wear it consistently. And a smartwatch that sits in your drawer because it's dead or too complicated or too expensive to justify? That's just an expensive paperweight. The Venu 4 gives me professional-grade fitness tracking without requiring a PhD to interpret the data. It lasts 11 days, so I charge it Sunday mornings while making coffee and never think about it again. The health features are comprehensive enough to catch issues without overwhelming me with data. The smart features work well for my needs without requiring subscriptions. And spending over $1,000 less over 3 years means I can invest that money in actual fitness activities, better running shoes, gym memberships, and experiences instead of wrist technology. But here's the critical part. You might be completely different. If you're deep in the Apple ecosystem and prioritize that seamless integration, the Ultra 3 is genuinely worth it. If you're a serious athlete training for specific goals and need those advanced metrics, the Fenix 8 Pro becomes worth the investment. The best smartwatch isn't the one with the most features. It's not the most expensive. It's not even necessarily the cheapest. The best smartwatch is the one that matches what you actually do on Tuesday. So ask yourself, what's your Tuesday look like? Answer that honestly, and you'll know exactly which watch to buy. If this saves you from making an expensive mistake, hit that like button. Subscribe for honest tech reviews where I spend my own money and tell you the truth. Drop a comment telling me which watch matches your Tuesday. I genuinely read every single one, and I'd love to hear your perspective. The best fitness tracker is the one you actually wear. Choose based on your real life, not your imaginary one. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to charge my Apple Watch again while my Garmin mocks me from across the room with 3 weeks of battery left. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.